Hey everyone, this is Brian Jones with Dirty Outlaw Entertainment and Lillian, and you are listening to Blevins Nation on Rock Rage Radio.
Blevins Nation Entertainment and BlevinsNation.com, the place to go for all the best in rock and roll music, new rock, and podcast. So sit back, hold tight, and open up your ears. The revolution is here. Now here's your host, Chris.
Hi everybody, this is Chris with Blevins Nation, and we're talking with Brian Jones, lead singer of the band Lillian and owner and operator and entrepreneur. I mean, this guy owns Dirty Outlaw Entertainment, and it's been a struggle for a couple of years, but they are blowing the hell up now. So, how's it going?
Hey Chris, how are you, man?
Oh shit, I'm I wouldn't say I'm living the dream, but I'm trying to.
Yeah, I know, right? We all say that. It's been many years since I've physically talked to you in person.
Yeah, no shit.
A lot of people may not know you and I are old friends. He's back from my hometown. So. Oh
yeah. Well, man, God, I hadn't been home in a few years, so it'll be nice to get back down there. In next month. Shit, it's getting close.
Definitely, man. I'd love to see. It's been many years, man, but. You moved up north on us, man.
Well, actually, I kind of got out of music for a while and started back coaching football, and that just kind of took me away, and then I moved. So I've been out of music since 2007. So
wow,
it's been a while. Yep, I played my last show in 2007.
Wow, that's 12 years, man.
Yeah.
That kind of felt like a dream to me. It's like sometimes I wonder how would that be to be able to just to cease things for a little bit. So I've never done that. I was 31 years consecutive now of touring and doing everything else that we do and with the company and with Lillian and then my solo stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be. I just always envisioned taking a break. That would be pretty cool. But it's it's one of those things, man. It's just in our blood, and I'm stuck with it. It's the beautiful disaster, as I call it.
Yeah. Well, I took that Bobby Dahl approach to rock and roll and to music. In that interview, he said he didn't start playing bass to become a musician. He wanted to be a fucking rock star. And he never envisioned himself just playing music and being a musician. So, I kind of lived my life like that. I always have, and I just got tired of it, got bitter, got pissed off, and quit. and now I have found a whole new love for music. So
Sure.
not just established bands, but shit, definitely unsigned, unestablished bands. I'm trying to get people on the, give them routes that I never had because I didn't know people. And it is a lot to do with who you know in this business.
Well, of course, and I think it's awesome to pay it forward and to help other bands. We always try to do that, and just whether it be a band or individually, especially not have the resources of the past back many years ago that are available, to these younger bands now and the younger generation that we didn't have. I think it's awesome. So it's always good to try and pay it forward and to watch people flourish. That's always a rewarding thing. So we've always tried to do that as well, and that's it's real rewarding at the end of the day to see bands flourish and have things that or maybe even succeed in different form or facets, but to be able to have that ability and that's pretty cool because with the social media and the way the world changed. I mean, back many years ago, we were all telephone polling and putting the flyers out on the walls, which I still think's good. I mean, still a grassroots approach, but with the advent of the internet and social media, the kids these days, they do have a bigger advantage, but at the same time, the disadvantage comes in to where everything is streamlined online. So the CDs and the nice liner notes and vinyl and things of that nature that we used to love are just, with the exception of vinyl, but it's making a comeback. But, CDs and things like that are more obsolete. So and they're becoming obsolete. And then within a year's time or so, according to our label, they say CDs will no longer be made. So it's interesting. So at one point, there's kind of the benefit of having the social media and all those great things that these younger kids or the younger generation have these days that we didn't have. But at the same time, back then, we all made more money. We were able to have more things, more like buses and things of that nature, and on ground tours and things like that, because you had more resources because you were making income from CD sales and things of that nature, as opposed to now, whether it be Spotify or iTunes or whatever. And we're all happy at the end of the day that people are buying the music and still listening. But with the it's not really illegal. I guess it's commonplace now. But with the illegal downloading and all those things, that it took away a lot of money from a lot of musicians. So we just tried to find ways to compensate in other means, And so it's kind of a shift, to see the newer generation with the ability to be able to promote themselves better, as opposed to what we had in the old days. But, the benefit in the old days is we had the ability to have a more streamlined income and make more money from CD sales and things of that nature. And, touring. I mean, hell, touring back then was a lot more prevalent, obviously, and it was a lot easier back in the day. So it's just kind of a trade-off. It's kind of fun or not fun, but it's kind of interesting to look at the analogy between the two.
Yeah. Well, that you brought up a lot of good points I want to hit on real quick. Like, as far as grassroots, I think you're still doing grassroots. It's just on the internet because, you have promoters on one hand. That I went to a show in Kentucky a few months back, and man, there was 20 people there, and it was a big place, great sound, everything, and and it was Bullet Boys, Enough's Enough, and Pump 5, and I was just like, how the fuck? They think that they can post it one time on Facebook and people are going to see it, and they think that they can put a poster up in their place and see it one time. Hell no. You can't do that. You've got to post it every freaking day. The timeline on
Especially
Twitter.
with the new algorithm.
Yes,
Yeah, and
exactly.
the new algorithm,
Yes.
like, you don't even know who's seeing it. I mean, it's almost like Facebook is dictating who they want you to, who they, your posts they want to, who they want them, to see those posts. So it's
right.
The algorithms and everything's changed so much. So while it's free, it only gives us a little bit of room to fuss about it, but at the same time, it's a little frustrating. So, no, I mean, Facebook is not the answer. I mean, it's definitely a port, and it's definitely a good avenue, like you said, but I still believe in radio. I still believe the power of radio. I believe in the power of word of mouth. And then grassroots, literally going back out to the music stores that still exist, and to the mom and pop CD stores and record stores, and putting out flyers. And that was part of the fun back in the day, Now it's just so easy, you just pop up something on the internet, and I mean, I'm guilty as anyone else. We all do it because it's a necessary evil. I call it an evil. It can also be a benefit, but there's just so much out there that people get inundated with, and so, I agree with you. I mean, you post it once, that's just a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say posting it 20 times, I don't know how beneficial or successful it is. And then you can do the boost post and things of that nature, and I'm not even sure how beneficial that is,
I think the live feeds and the watch parties that y'all do help a lot. And, I mean, I've noticed they helped with me. They help with other people, and talking about Facebook, I discounted my tickets the other day for a limited time, and I posted that they were $10, and Facebook took that motherfucker down. So, just ridiculous stuff like that, I mean, oh wow, I posted something was worth money. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bitch, but I mean, it's something you got to deal with. So I'll repost it and won't put money on there. So be it. So, but yeah, man, I mean, bands don't have what we used to have, but they do have another thing, with the internet and everything else. They're not going to make the money that bands made back in the day, and there's not as many big bands. The 80s and 90s, you had tons and tons of rock bands that could take other bands out on the road with them. And now that has dwindled down so much that everybody is a lower band, per se. I'm not meaning that in any way
of course.
Bad, but nobody's on the top, because of radio. So
sure.
Everything's a damn catch-22. But
definitely in the music world, for sure.
Exactly.
And it's frustrating, but we still keep doing it and trying to, carry the torch. And I mean, there's always good times, bad times, like Led Zeppelin, but like they say, but it's just in our blood. We keep doing it. So, I don't know if we're just complete imbeciles or just complete insanity. It's you get the same results over and over and over again, then you start questioning your sanity. But there's always those good times that you try to see the silver lining, and you try to, it's like, oh, well, that overrides the bad times, and then there's the nightmare stories that override the good times. It's just like a constant thing. But man, it is what we do, and we do it for the fans and for the love of music. We all are all still fans of music, and we all started that way, and that's why we got involved in the first place. So
exactly.
That's why we keep doing it, and regardless of how hard it is, it's just what we do.
Well, cool. Well, before we get into talking about some Lillian Axe stuff, let's talk about Dirty Outlaw. I know you got a show coming up this month, the 21st, at BB's Live, which is Bonnie Blair's on the Reservoir in Brandon, Mississippi. And that is Mike Tramp.
Yeah.
The voice of White Lion. He doesn't like me saying that, but I mean, shit,
He doesn't mind. I
know he doesn't, but he said if people don't know who the fuck he is, then they've been living under a rock, But
sure, I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I'm really excited about that show. Mike and I are dear friends, and I met Mike back. We've done 4 months of the Rock Cruise, and so I met him. I think it was on our first month of the Rock Cruise, and we just maintained a friendship, and we always communicate through email.
Yeah.
Obviously, being that he's in Denmark. I love the guy. He's a great guy, consummate professional, an amazing singer-songwriter. So, I mean, there's a misnomer amongst a lot of people that I've had to explain to here. They hear the word White Lion, and it's just naturally they assume it's the Heritage hair band thing, and I'm just like, go listen to his solo stuff. It's totally opposite of what you're, it's more along the lines of me to like an amazing Butch Walker type, just singer-songwriter.
It's kind of Americana,
great music
in a way.
Yeah, it's definitely Americana, and totally opposite of White Lion stuff.
Yes.
And I like them both equally, but there's just so much stuff to what he does, and he's got it programmed down to a T when you watch him live, when he controls everything with his feet, and it's all MIDI based, and he just does a great job. He's an amazing storyteller, an amazing songwriter, sweetheart of a person, and he's just genuine. I know you've spoken with him and done an interview, which that was a great interview, by the way, but he's just a sweetheart person, man, and so I hope everybody, all the kids will come out and see that and really get to to experience what I remember experiencing when I was younger, being able to see White Lion, and then now having a friendship with him. It's pretty cool. And then but I would like others to be able to experience that kind of same feeling that I have, and just watching him and hearing stories, and he just does a great job. So yeah, we're really excited. And then thereafter, we have several bands that that we haven't announced, but that will be announcing very soon. But we do have 12 Stones coming as well.
Now, when is
to
that?
Our company, like you mentioned, 30 Outlaw Entertainment.
Yeah.
That's April. So I actually managed years ago, and we were both signed to Wind Up at the same time. When I was with Adam Shipp and Paper Cut Massacre. Mm-hmm. And Paul and I have known each other many, many years, and I've always thought they're a great band, and we've always maintained a great friendship, and a close friendship. Like, and I know his family very well, obviously, and it's like I said, we've always had maintained a great relationship, and just one day, man, hey, listen, we're going to manage you guys, and it's been great, man. We've had great shows and great success and great runs, and they're doing really well. Paul's actually working on a solo record right now.
Okay.
And so he's with the Out and with Memphis with Justin Reimer and those guys, and so and it sounds really good, and they're doing really good, and so he's excited about that. And so yeah, we that's one of our bands we actually manage, and then we have Kip Winger coming, and that's now in June. That is June 14th, actually. So Kip Winger and friends. So I'm not sure who he's going to bring. I know Reb at that time is out with White Snake. So I'm not sure if it's going to be John Roth. I'm not sure who he's bringing. But I will find out soon. I mean, that's not really important.
Show
have another
or full band.
Yeah. No, this is an acoustic. A duo acoustic thing. For Kip. And then on July 11th, we have our great friends we've toured with many, many years, and they're very, very close friends of ours, and love these guys dearly, and they're true crazy fools that are just so much fun, and that's the Great Guys with Faster Pussycat, and that'll be on July 11th. And obviously, there's some acoustic show. That's going to be a full, balled out, crazy show.
You said that's July 11th?
July 11th, yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second here. Let me look at my dates for something. Wow. They're going to be here in Cincinnati on the 13th, July 13th, so... Hell yeah!
Yeah, they're going straight up. They off and going straight up. Yeah,
that's awesome. But yeah, and they're going to, and Bang Tango is going to be with them, so that'll be cool. Never got to see them back in the day. So,
yeah, Joe Joe's a good friend of ours, man. We've done a lot of good shows with Bang Tango as well. So.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Now, and talking about Mike Tramp too, I'm actually going to see him too. I want to say that's March 9th. That's after the cruise. He's going to be in Indiana, and it's him and John Corabi together. Well, two separate, things, but I mean on the same night.
Sure.
So that's going to be cool as shit.
That'll be great.
Man. Hell
Karabi does a great job.
Yeah, I've seen Dead Daisies, but I hadn't seen Karabi, and did see where Karabi. Yeah, did see where he was going to do the 1994 Motley Crue album in its entirety, do some shows like that.
Yeah, we
hell yeah.
On one of the cruises, and I can't recall which it was. The guys in Lillian and I, we actually went and watched it, but he did the 1994 Crew record in its entirety straight through. His sign-in was playing the band, of course, and it was great, man. It sounded great, and they had an amazing turnout on the ship for that show. And I love Karabi's voice. And
oh yeah,
just another sweetheart guy, just a great aura.
Very cool, very cool. Now, some about your past. You've not sure exactly how long you've been playing. When did you start, or what did you cut your teeth on?
Oh Lord, musically?
Yeah.
Or like
guitar.
What did that?
Like what made you want to sing and what made you want to play guitar?
Oh man, that's actually not a really hard question. It's going to sound probably very cliche. It was really three bands that really, that I just really remember. I'd say four. My father was very supportive when I was younger, obviously, but I remember I was 8, 9 years old, and I used to wear this trash bag, and that was a stage outfit. So I cut the hole out of the front. My mother would help me, obviously, scissors. I was like 8 or 9. And that was it's almost like a ET outfit, if you can imagine. It was horrible. And then I had this like belt apparatus that would go around my waist, and then I had aluminum tinfoil, and that was my microphone. And and I would put music on a cassette. Hell, it may have been 8-track. And I would rock out, and then they bought me my first guitar at 9, I believe. It was a Harmony. I remember with a Harmony Strat copy. And yeah, I did. And I just took off, and I just kept playing and kept playing and kept playing. And I was a really pretty accomplished guitar player for that age. And I mean, that's all I did, though. I mean, I just practiced and practiced and practiced. And then I started gigging when I was 12.
Wow.
Emancipated and, playing bars. My father would have to accompany me. And then the band would play all the high school parties, junior high parties and high school parties, and it was just nonstop. And I mean, even at a young age, it was weekend warrior stuff, of course, at that point, because I was, in school and whatnot as a young lad. But and just kept going and here we are, still to this day.
I hear you. Now,
so I never stopped.
Now, like you said, you've been in a couple, counting Lillian acts, you've been in a couple of national acts, like you were saying, Adam Ship. You were playing with them for a little while. Now, didn't you play bass with them?
No, actually, I play guitar.
Oh, you did? For some reason, I was thinking bass, but my bad.
No, Nathan had. Now, initially, that's good. That's interesting. You mentioned that. Initially, I was going to play bass, and we actually didn't even when I first went down to. I spoke to Joey, and when I first went down to Nathan was rest in peace. Nathan was still living at the time, and he had taken a production job, so he had gotten out of music altogether. And for a while, Adam Ship had dismembered, I guess, for a year or so. And Joey was living here, the singer Joey Culver, and he was living here. And so Joey and I were friends and hung out a lot. And he went back to the coast, and So initially, I was going to be playing bass, and he had another guitar player lined up. John, gosh, I don't remember John's last name because he only rehearsed with us once. And then he moved to Mobile, Alabama, and so Joey ended up sticking back to Roy, the original bass player for Adam's Ship, and so basically it was Adam's Ship again with Roy and Chad Kent and Joey on vocals, and I was playing guitar.
Cool.
In Nathan's absence, and subsequently, unfortunately, Nathan passed away working at the Hard Rock, doing production at the Hard Rock Casino in the live room there in Biloxi, Mississippi. And so we did the Adams Ship thing for a little bit, and then the record label, this was still wind up. So at the time, you still had Evanescence, you had Creed,
Mm-hmm.
and they were and this was right before the Creed breakup. So this is kind of where it gets interesting. People versus Planes. There was a lot of good bands on Wind Up. The Wind Up was an independent label, even though they acted more like a major.
Right.
And so they reached out and said, "Hey, man, we want to push the product, but let me back up a minute. At this point, Creed was getting back together, and it was before actually they had gotten back together, if you recall, and put out another record and started touring again, and because Scott had subsequently put out solo records and all those things, which was still under Wind Up, so a lot of their money was tied up into Scott and those guys. But they put us with a new manager and said, "Hey, we wanted to try a new direction," and so Joey started writing some stuff, and we all started coming up with great ideas, and so we changed the name to Paper Cut Massacre. And unfortunately, Chad and Roy left the band. They left Adam's Ship, and we became Paper Cut Massacre. And basically, it was Joey singing, and it was myself on guitar and my cover band at the time, which was Full Moon Circus.
Right.
So he brought Jerry Meadows in from a band called Joan Red out of Memphis, and so basically it was Joey and Jerry Meadows, the drummer, and then my circuit band, my cover band at the time, was Joey Tenney on bass and myself on guitar, and then a gentleman, Billy Harvey, on guitar, and that was Paper Cut Massacre, and we put out a record at These Cars Could Talk. It was a lot of fun. Took some great shows, and had a lot of fun, man. And then we all kind of just split and Wind Up pretty much dropped everyone except Creed and Evanescence. So
okay,
that's how that story went down.
Well, you hear that a lot.
It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, man? I mean, you did live the dream. Some people only have 15 minutes of fame, and very hard to get 2 or 3, and that's awesome, man. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? And I think how long have you been with Axe? And that's Lillian Axe, of course.
Almost a decade now.
I was thinking around 2010, 2011, something like that.
Yeah, I got it was at the end of 2009 when Derek had let them know he was leaving the band.
Mm-hmm.
And so this process started in 2009, and then did all the, I had known Steve since I was a kid, obviously, but I went through. There were a lot of great singers. I was blessed to have gotten the job, and especially growing up, that was one of my favorite bands. And not saying that obviously because I'm a part of the band. There's actually pictures of me that Steve had at his house that I had given him. Of my father had taken me to shows when I was 12 or 13 years old with the classic Lillian shirt, and on the back, "Who the hell is Lillian?" And so it's the process started in 2009. I remember getting a call. I was in Florida, and having just finished the show with Guns of Addiction at the time, or it may have been Full Moon. No, it was Guns of Addiction. Daryl was with me, Dirty D, and we were driving back from Florida, and I got a call from JJ, who is our front of the house engineer, and works with the Zebra and works with Sledgehammer. JJ's been around a long, long time. Great guy. Jay Frederick.
Love
worked
JJ.
with LA Guns. Yeah, I know, and it worked with LA Guns, worked with Brides of Destruction.
Yes.
And with Nikki Sixx for many, many years. And he was the head, the house tech there at the Viper for a long time. And the Whiskey. But anyway, he called me and he said, "Hey, Steve Blade's going to be calling you here in a bit, and just wanted to see if you kind of throw some ideas if you wanted to come and audition for Lillian accent." Of course, I was floored. And so I remember we pulled over at a gas station. And, of course, Daryl, having been a Lillian Axe fan for years, too, was just as stoked and was like, this is a prank or something. I was like, but Daryl's with me, so he's not pulling the prank, so what's going on here? But no, lo and behold, long story short, I went down multiple times. And physically at the studio there in Covington, Louisiana, and where we would later record, the Days Before Tomorrow and One Night in the Temple. But we rehearsed there, and I rehearsed with them. It was very nerve-wracking, very weird, because I played, like I said, with the wind-up days, I played in front of 30,000, 40,000 people. And that didn't even bother me. But I remember being in this room and I was scared to death. And,
I could imagine.
And I just looking at my Guitar Hero, and just hearing the melodies and being able to sing. It's a lot different when you're singing in your car or whatever, and you just start listening to music around the house, doing your daily activities or whatever, and then being in a band, being in the physical room.
Kind of had that rock star moment, the movie where he's in the.
Oh, yeah, certainly, yeah. Everyone, in Jackson, that's a funny analogy that you mentioned that, but a lot of people do bring that story up. I'm not saying that I'm a rock star. But attributing it's the same story though. I grew up watching them. I went to every one of their shows, and later on, here I am the singer. So that's kind of my little story in terms of that movie. Of course, nothing like Ripper or nothing like Ripper or Halford, obviously. But it's a funny story. But yeah, to answer your question, that started in 2009, so it's been a decade. It was January 2010 when I officially was given the position, but the whole process was a 6 or 7 month process, and that started in 2009 in the summertime. So around July 2009, I guess, if you want to get technical.
I saw you. I only seen you perform with them once before I moved up here, but that was at Fire. Right after they had turned and built the stage sideways, so you had more room and stuff. And had built that one room onto the end. I think it was not too long after Cadillacs was opened, or maybe something like that.
I do recall that show, I believe.
I don't know if it was a Creek reunion or if it was just y'all. I can't damn remember.
I want to say it was a Creek reunion.
It probably was. Yeah, it probably was. So, because there was a lot of people came into town, like Scott Wiggum and stuff and everything. So I'm pretty sure it was a Creek reunion show. So, but hell yeah, man! How many albums have y'all done with you in the band?
Well, the new one that's the fourth.
Okay.
So we did the Days Before Tomorrow. We did Days Before Tomorrow. We did One Night in the Temple, and then we did an EP, which is Live in War.
Okay.
So 3, and then we're doing the 4th now.
Now is this one going to be a full length album?
No, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were
going. We were supposed to be done with it last year, but it's we're really taking our time on it. It's a conceptual album. It's called From Womb to Tomb.
Right.
We released a single already. We released a single. We did a ballad as a single, which I thought was interesting. But anyone can go check that out on any of the social sites, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, or whatever you use, whatever your preference is.
Exactly.
That is the song is with the Weeping Moon, and we released that probably about 5 or 6 months ago, and everybody loves it. We got a lot of great feedback on it, and it was weird releasing a single as a ballad, because it's a different type ballad, and if you on the Lillian, especially for Lillian fans when they hear it. The different aspect of, I mean, that really doesn't. It really sounds quite different than anything Lillian's done in the past. So it's very operatic, I would say, and dramatic, and it's just very big. And I mean, it has timpanis in it, and has Leslie's in it, and just organ, and just crazy instrumentation, and it's very similar to a Queen. It's almost, very Queenish.
It's kind of epic sounding and stuff. It doesn't really have. It doesn't
like
have
Queen
that hint.
Yeah,
it doesn't have that hint of not trying to classify, of course, but Lillian was, a 80s child. 80s, 90s, early 90s hair band, I guess. I hate using that word, but you know what I mean. And it doesn't fit that typical ballad sound, which is cool. It's very different.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's great. And I loved it. It was, like I said, it's just a lot different. It's just very climatic, and it just sounds great. It's different for Lillian, but we released that as a single, Believe in Moon, and then we've done 2 more songs, and we're doing them in sections, which I think are pretty cool. I don't know how many singles were released before we released the whole record. And then now we have, we just have so much going on, and then with all of my things going on, and then Steve has the Ghost show Through the Veil that's doing really well, and it's out nearing its finality on the national syndication, getting picked up, and I'll let him tell you more about that. But they've worked very hard on that for many years to get that done, and it's doing a great job. So I'm happy for him on that front. But now he came up with a crazy idea for us to do a documentary, like a real, true long documentary, a movie. And so they've been talking with, people like the people that did the Anvil documentary or the Twisted Sister, Quite Right. It's going to be along those lines. But with Lillian having a 35-year history, the different band member changes and different, just everything that Lillian's done. And I don't say this because I'm biased and I'm in the band. I've always said that Lillian, and we could talk about that for a whole other phone call. Yeah. But Lillian was so underrated, and I think a lot of it was from being from the South, being from New Orleans, and MCA just not pushing the band properly for the first 2 records. The first 2 records, I think, are amazing records, and I'd put them up against any of their counterparts in the 80s.
Yes.
I'm not saying that as a singer, saying that from a fan's perspective. Just very underrated records that didn't get the push they deserved. And you can remember in 88, 89, let's just say 87 through 89, I mean, you had huge monsters that you were going against, but it's not like MCA was a small label, so I really understand why they did some of the things they did. They were bringing Jimmy Buffett in at that time, and they a lot of money was going towards them, but guessing, putting out Permanent Vacation in 87, they put out Pump in 89, I believe, and so there were a lot of great records at that time. Skid Row's debut was 88. Bon Jovi in New Jersey was 89. Feel Good was 89. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, so there was, and in 88, we can go back to 88. There were so many, in 87, so many great records were coming out at that time from other large conglomerate, record labels that were putting out music, and whether it be Universal or, Sony or Geffen, Epic, any of those. Yeah, Elektra was putting out, Motley at the time, obviously, and Epic, and then of course Guns N' Roses. I mean, they can't take out Appetite for Destruction, obviously, at 87.
87, yeah.
So there was a lot of competition, and just I don't know if the MCA monetarily didn't have the money per se to push, I mean, to push the albums like they should have. The tour support should have been better, but there were some great tours, with Queensryche and Crocus and some other great bands. But I'll always say, and I think for a lot of the documentary, Steve's vision, he's a great visionary, and I think his vision is to really show, hey man, we're still here. We're we're the band that can't be stopped. We're still here.
That's right.
Through thick and thin, and here we are. We're still doing it, and so we're excited about that too. So hopefully that can prolong the record. I know Steve is like, we haven't finished the record, and now you want to do a documentary, and that's going to be that's probably going to be a 12 to 24 month undertaking.
Oh yeah. Now, what? Tell me some shows. I know y'all have one coming up at the end of March, and that's in Atlanta. Go ahead and talk about that.
Now, like I said, with the album, we're doing one-off, as much as we can, just to stay out there and then to see our friends and our fans, and but we're really concentrating on the things that that April mentioned and I just talked about. But we're in Louisiana, Raceland, Louisiana, March 2nd. At Venue 182. It's a beautiful, beautiful room, beautiful venue. We always have a great time there, and it's always great crowd that comes out. The kids come out in droves, and a lot of fun. And then the end of this month, or the end of March rather, the 28th through the 30th, is a Rock Atlanta, which is a huge festival there in Atlanta, Georgia, with I think Skid Row's on it, Warrant's on it. Winger. I mean, the name's not Winger. I'm not looking at it obviously in front of me. All the shows kind of run together to me. Yeah. But
I think y'all were on Saturday, the 30th. Is that right?
Probably. I don't know, Chris. I would have to go look. Like I said, I run. Having 40 bands on our roster, it's hard to keep up with what I'm supposed to be doing with Lillian. But yes, we are on. I do recall we are on Saturday. I was trying to just for your listeners to be able to tell them everybody was on that bill, but that would be impossible. I do know that
I have it right here.
On there. How many did I get right? Did I get any right?
You did. You got Warrant. No, Skid Row's not
Firehouse
on there.
Was one of them,
right. Firehouse, Babylon Shakes, XYZ, ODD, and that's all Friday, the 29th. And then Saturday is Warrant, Dangerous Toys, Taquito, Kickin' Tina, Lillian Axe, Tora Tora, Roxy Blue, and Eastside Gamblers and Den Man. Not sure who they are, cool. But heck yeah, man, that's
and
wish I could get there.
Sunday, and it's going through Sunday too. I don't know who's on Sunday.
It doesn't
say
say
LA
any.
I wanted to say.
I don't know. It doesn't. It just says right here on their Rock Atlanta page. It just says March 29th and 30th. So Friday and Saturday.
Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe
they may have just decided not to do a third day. So.
Or Sunday, yeah, maybe possibly. I don't. That's weird. But yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then we have some things in April. We have some things in May, and then we have another festival in June in Gonzales, Louisiana.
Okay.
Called Rockin' the Bayou, and that's with Winger and Warrant, and I'm not going to try to quote the other bands, but I know it's in June, and it's June 15th. Actually, it's a one-day festival. Because oddly enough, Kip will be with us in Jackson the night before at BB's Live, and then he subsequently, playing with, the next day with us, which is kind of odd, but on the 15th.
Yeah.
So it's Gonzales, Louisiana, and that's Rockin' the Bayou. It's the name of the festival, and there's some great bands as well on that.
I'll tell you one that you need to check on because it would be right up Stevie's alley. But yeah, I told him about it when I interviewed him it's been a year now almost. But it's a Incarceration Fest up here in Ohio, and it's it's on location at the Shawshank Redemption movie, where the reformatory here in Ohio. And it's
Oh, wow.
supposed to be haunted and shit, So, and they take
Oh, yeah, that'd be
take you
right
on
up his
tour.
alley.
Yeah, they take you on tours and shit. And then inside of it, there's like 100 fucking tattoo artists that whole weekend, and they're tattooing and shit. So I mean, it's a killer festival,
wow,
man.
cool.
Yeah, this year's their second year.
Yeah, and we try to pick and choose the shows the best way we can. I mean,
Right.
we have people that call us all the time, and if it makes sense to do, we definitely want to get out there and do it. Like, it kind of goes back to the onset of our conversation with ground tours and things of that nature, just cost-wise and things of that nature. If it doesn't, it just kind of has to make sense, unfortunately, in this day and age, unless we get out and stay out for 2 or 3 months at a time, which we don't do any longer. I'm a father, Steve's a father, and that's just something now that as we get older, we just chose not to do. And I admire the musicians out there that are still doing it. But we, about the longest we're going to do is a 2.5, 3 week run now, and then we've made that decision. And we're okay with that. We're okay with the one-offs and the fly-outs and fly dates and, if it makes sense, we love doing it. And so, anyone that's interested in having us, we'd always love to try to make it work, and hopefully we can make it work. But we'd love to get up to Ohio. We always loved playing Ohio. I think last time we were in Ohio, we were at one of Ripper's bars, one of his venues, and at Ripper Owens, and they took great care of us, and we had a great time in Ohio.
Oh yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, yeah, up here, man, I can go to a show every other week, probably every weekend, and a national at least every other weekend. I mean, it's just ridiculous at the music that comes through here, So, very awesome.
Well, that's a great thing. I mean, you don't see that in a lot of other cities.
It is. I just wish that would have happened in Jackson, man. Who knows?
Well, back in the old days, now it did. In the old days, it did, and then of course it stopped. There's so many reasons why. I think obviously the advent of the grunge movement changed a lot of things for a lot of people, as we all know.
It did.
But even that, with that being said, the grunge bands, the category bands, really didn't come to Jackson. I believe that I can remember at the Coliseum, because we had a show every weekend. I remember at the Coliseum on the state fairgrounds there in Jackson, and we're the capital. That's what's crazy is we're such a central location to other major markets that it doesn't make sense. A lot of bands don't stop through here, but and of course I speak for myself because the rest of the band and Lillian obviously lives in Louisiana and New Orleans, but where I live in Jackson, we're right here centralized to other major markets, Mobile, Biloxi, Mississippi. That's a lot of tourism that obviously there with the casinos. Memphis is directly north of us. Birmingham directly to our east. You got Baton Rouge to our southwest, Louisiana to New Orleans to our southwest. We're just right here, we're central point and for routing and so yeah, it's hard. It doesn't make sense, in terms of why bigger bands are playing our Coliseum. But since our company started, we've done well on bringing some, and it's definitely been a fun learning experience, but it's also been a hard one. And struggle is a good word earlier that you used to reference it. To keep things afloat and things of that nature. I mean, if you're talking 18, 19-hour work days, man, on top of doing what we're doing already, and it's but to try and make a difference, you just, even if anything and never changes, at least that you will never stop trying. And that's the whole thing about it. I just don't. There's no threshold for me to say no. So I just keep going, and we bring bands, and we brought some great bands, man, and so we kind of got that started back. That's one thing that I'm really happy with. And especially being a smaller company that doesn't have a conglomerate of sponsors, and everything's our money. We don't have other investors. Everything's done through us, and so not having that. Most promoters have backers. We've always done things self-sufficiently, and it's a little more stressful, obviously. But
I know what you mean.
But a lot of other promoters aren't musicians, and so I think
exactly.
that, and our booking agents, and I think that's what's given our company attraction to bands and things of that nature. They want to be a part of what we're doing because they know that we've first and foremost have always been musicians for many, many, many years, and that's important to them because we've lived the life and not sat at some desk just collecting commissions and things of that nature. We've actually done it, and we've actually promoted shows. We've down from A to Z, whether it be tour managing and whatever. We've always done those things, and so that's a little different with that's I think what kind of sets our company out apart from others. It's truly based on the musician, based on the lives that we've lived and we know. So it's real life experience that we try to apply for bands that we work with, and even on the promoting aspect, bringing bands here.
Yeah. Real quick now, let's tell everybody where they can find not only Dirty Outlaw Entertainment, but Lillian Axe and all that stuff on the internet.
Certainly, anything. Obviously, everything's on the like you said, on the internet there.
The Facebook.
But yeah, on Facebook, Facebook, you simply look up, Lillian Axe. We have a great Facebook page, and it's well maintained. Or you can go on to the great www.lillianaxe.com for Lillian Axe. Steve has a page, a personal Facebook page, our fan page rather. And you can just type up Steve Blaze and you'll see it. So mine is Brian Jones and then Lillian Axe. So you can find those. And then a couple of the other members have personal pages as well. So you can find those, find those guys too. In terms of Dirty Outlaw Entertainment, obviously it's just Dirty Outlaw Entertainment on Facebook. There is a band of misfits that I like to call them, 4,000 strong or 5,000 strong, and it's called the Dirty Outlaw Club. So you can request to be a member of that, and we'll approve it. And it's just a community of like-minded individuals talking about music and posting about shows, just talking about anything. And it's a cool platform to advertise in and to talk about things. And then everybody in there keeps it classy, so it's a real cool page. But that was kind of an offset of the Dirty Outlaw page. And then, of course, www.dirtyoutlawentertainment.com. And that's on Facebook. And then, of course, Instagram. You can find me, just type in my name, Brian Jones, or Voice of Lillian Axe. I believe it's my name on the Instagram platform. Steve is on the Instagram platform. Lillian Axe is on the Instagram platform, and all by name, so you can just type these out on the search field. And we have Twitter accounts too, so same principle.
Yep.
Just type in our name and you can find us. And we try to stay online and keep everybody up to date as much as possible.
Yep, cool. Now, real quick, you said March 2nd is in Louisiana. Tell that again.
Yeah, Raceland, Louisiana at venue 182.
Okay.
Right. And the tickets for that are on sale at Eventbrite, and we're actually doing a cool VIP event on that show too. And those tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite.com as well. And then we're doing Rocklanta, which we spoke about. Obviously, it's March 28th through the 30th, I believe. Or 28th and 29th, rather, in Rocklanta.
No, 29th and 30th.
Okay, my apologies. 29th and 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Atlanta, Georgia. Beautiful indoor festival. It's a large theater.
Called Center Stage. I think it's called something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can get
And
tickets
then,
for that from, well, you can actually go on the Facebook page, Rocklanta, and that's
yeah,
Rocklanta, right? And,
yeah, there's a link on it there. And then Rockin' the Bayou, you can get tickets on that as well. That's in June. And we do have some other shows right now that
just can't
before that I can't
announce.
announce, but right now, but contractually, but they'll be announced very, very soon within the next couple of weeks. Not just in terms of Lillian acts, but also for Dirty Outlaw Entertainment, for Jackson and abroad. But in terms of the Rockin' the Bayou is in Gonzales, Louisiana, and that's June 15th. And you can just type in Rockin' the Bayou Festival on Facebook, and there's a ticket link there. It's in-house ticketing, so I'm not sure what company they're using, but I know you can purchase tickets from there.
Okay, cool. Well, Brian, I want to thank you for coming on, man, and also thank you for talking about Dirty Outlaw and what you're doing with Dirty Outlaw and bringing in music, because, I mean, I support live music. I got a Facebook group page that's called Keep It Live, and anybody can go there and post about shows they're going to, shows they're having, talk about shows they've been to. I mean, anything about live rock and roll, you know. So definitely post on there where, you know, Lillian's going to be, and that's just, you know, I love that musicians, and like you said, like I'm doing, paying it back, you know, and you're giving these musicians a platform to keep playing their music and spreading it to the masses, you know, when there's a lot of places out there that won't. So, you know.
No, definitely, and that's something we always want to do. And, you know, Lillian would love to get out and play more. Like I said, if it makes sense, it's something we would definitely always try to do. And, you know, for any of your listeners out there that want to see Lillian, just demand us in your city, man. And it's all about,
that's right.
Like Chris is doing a great job with his podcast and his radio show. And listen, man, it's important. Fans don't realize the impact they really have. And you know, it's easy to say, get on someone's page, hey, come here and come there. And while we appreciate the enthusiasm, your voice really can be heard. You know, go to these venue owners, go to these radio stations on the terrestrial world, on the FM side. Even right Sirius, you know, it doesn't matter, but your voice will always be heard. I mean, it's just like in I'm not talking about politics, but just in an election in general of any sort, you know, your voice does count. So, you know, make sure you're telling these venues, these bands that you want to see, and we keep it within reason. Obviously, make it make sense. You know, you don't tell a venue that holds, you know, a 500 or 600 cap room that you want to see Metallica or the Rolling Stones, but you know, if it makes just keep it making sense. But you know, your voice will be heard, and they will listen to you, and they of course appreciate the feedback. And when you do go to a great show and experience a great time and experience a great event, take time. You know, when you're not doing anything, everyone surfs Facebook, whether you have a few moments or whatever. And if you know the promoter or whoever the promoter is, go to that page and tell them they did a great job, you know, and that's part of paying it forward, man, because it gives them the confidence to do it again. And that brings them, it just gives them the ability, especially if it was a profitable show for them and you know, they didn't lose, and that will want them to have people come back. And same way with the bands, man, make sure you go out and tell bands, because it's not, look, I'm not fussing at all. I'm very blessed, and I've played so many countries and just I've had a blast doing it. It's been an amazing experience and journey. But even Chris, I'm sure, can speak from his past experience, as he told you before. Being a musician is not exactly the glorious, crazy thing that you think, you know, that's just an amazing lifestyle that people think. It's hard. I mean, and there's a lot of times we're out on the road, we're away from our family, we're lonely. You know, we love the fans, but you know, there's days off where you're just sitting in the middle of the desert and just waiting and to go to the next stop. And you know, we do it for the love of music, and we do it for the love of fans and friends. So it's always important to, you know, it's a trade-off system. We always think our fans are coming out and And I think it's important for fans to reciprocate. Obviously, we know that you wanted to come see us or you wouldn't have come to the show.
Right.
But if you enjoyed yourself, you had a great time at the particular show, whether it be whoever it may be, and this extends to any genre. It's not doesn't have to be just rock, whatever. But you should take a moment and say, "Hey, man, I've really enjoyed your show." Go to social media and post about it, tweet about it, include them in on it, and because that means the world to fans when you do that, whether it be all the way from Metallica to Lillian acts to anybody in between.
That's right.
I've personally seen James Hetfield retweet things and we're talking about the Godfather, in my opinion, the greatest rhythm player and singer of all metal, in my opinion. And of course, when you talk about someone like Metallica, there's so many bands that there wouldn't exist without a Metallica. Yes. They were the second coming of Sabbath, and in terms of sales, we're not even going to talk about the sales. They
it's ridiculous.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fourth largest selling artist of all time. But again, I've personally seen Hetfield do that. Of course, he doesn't have to do that, but it's the fact that he loves it, and he's been able to, and then he still loves doing it, and so he tweets things, and so I think that's important too, man, for the fans to really have that interaction with bands. Bands aren't as unattainable as you think they are.
Yeah,
so I think that's important too. So that's something I just personally wanted to let fans and friends know, man. Just let your voice be heard in many ways. The love of music transcends in so many different aspects. So whether it be on social media, tweeting, or, man, I had a blast here at this show, and I had a blast here at this show, I had a blast here at that show.
Right.
And telling the promoters they did a great job, telling the venues thank you for bringing them. That encourages them. All you're doing is just encouraging them to do it again.
Right, exactly.
And create a domino effect. So,
yeah.
I wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. I mean, I love talking about music and all aspects of it. I may not love talking about the record industry, but I still love talking about music. So
yeah, I don't know if anybody
our
music industry.
Yeah, our corporate radio, but that's a whole nother story. But hey, you got a couple of friends you might want to throw a shout out to that are in radio.
Yeah, actually, my partner Daryl Arnold, Dirty D. They have the Dirty Outlaws House of Rock, and that just recently became nationally syndicated on Rock Rage Radio. So yes, I'm very happy for those guys.
That's awesome.
He and the owner of Bonnie Blair's, Melissa Kirksey, and shorter name, a.k.a. MK. They do a great job. So if you're in the Jackson, Mississippi area, and you can pick it up on FM dial 104.5. Or if you're abroad, which there's tons of users out there, thousands just listening, and now it's obviously become, quadruple or quintuple, since Rock Rage, since I got involved with Rock Rage, or it's all over the world.
And that's on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, that's on Wednesday nights, yeah.
And the regular radio show. Go ahead.
Yeah, the live feed is done on Fridays from 4 to 7 p.m., and you can use the TuneIn app for those that are not in Jackson, Mississippi.
Right.
And just type in WPBP, The Pirate, or, Jackson, Mississippi, Pearl, Mississippi, and they'll pull right up and you can listen to it. Or if you're online during those hours at work or whatnot, you can watch it on Facebook on the Dirty Outlaw Entertainment page. I know we always broadcast it.
Right.
And then, like I said, on Wednesdays, I know that they they rebroadcast it on. They actually broadcast it on the Rock Radio side on Wednesdays, and I think that is from 4 to 7, I believe. Or
no,
yeah, I believe, or 7. No, 7 is it later?
6 to 9. I think it's 6 to
something
9.
Like that.
I'm not sure.
Luckily, Daryl handles all that, and he does a great job. He's the radio guy, I'm not the radio guy. So,
yeah.
But we started it together, and then Melissa came in, and I'm not involved in that aspect of the business per se. It's a great. I'm definitely happy for them. It's an awesome thing they're doing, and they're doing a great job. And it's still got the Dirty Outlaw name to it, so I'm very happy and thankful for that, and thankful for Rock Rage Radio believing in them, because I know the numbers have gone up through the roof, and it's been really cool.
Oh yeah. And the cool thing about that is, even though you're not doing that anymore, because you were on there with Daryl here and there, but dude, I gotta say,
yeah, it was fun. I had the gig and stuff a lot,
well,
and I was always doing.
Yeah, that's what I was just fixing to say.
Daryl's the radio guy.
You're the
He's
hardest.
Been radio forever.
You're the hardest working dude in Mississippi. Maybe even could be anywhere in the U.S. Shit, dude, you play 7 nights a week sometimes. And that could go on for months at a time. You know what I'm saying? So and then you got Lillian, and then you got Dirty Outlaw.
Yeah,
you're at Bonnie B's. Well, Bonnie Blair's, yeah.
I was supposed to be off tonight, and my partner pulled a little fast one on me, and so I'm playing tonight. I was supposed to be at the end of the month, but they're all Dirty D. Again, does a great job on the radio, and he's my partner and my best friend, and love him to death. With many 30 years now. So, yeah. But he's been an integral part of really helping shape things over at Bonnie Blair's, and definitely an integral part on the radio show. We definitely started together. We went in together. Daryl really sealed the deal. That was his thing and something that he wanted. And we went in. He had me in on the first. I did about 4 or 5 shows, and but yeah, man, radio. It was fun. It was a learning experience for me, because I had never been in it. He had been in it for many years. Between that and playing with Leif Garrett and the other bands he's played with. But that was a lot of fun for me. But, just from a time constraint perspective, it obviously I didn't have time. And so when he developed his relationship with Bonnie Blair's franchise, and really kind of started giving his ideas out there and really turning that place around with Melissa, because she's done an amazing job of turning it around. He brought her in, and of course she looks a lot better than me, and it works out. So it's fun, and I get in there, I listen to them when I can, and I listen to them pretty much every time I can if I'm on my way to a show, or if I'm out of town, I listen with a TuneIn app, and it works great. So I would suggest everybody to download the TuneIn app. It's free on Android and Apple iOS, and it's just the TuneIn app, and you can look that up. Also, the Rock Rage Radio app, and it's Dirty Outlaws House of Rock. Yeah. They do a great job.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
And tune in to Blevins Nation as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hell yeah. And I'm on Rock Rage Radio now. My first show was this past Sunday.
I was going to say that, but I didn't know if you had announced that yet or not.
Yeah,
because I knew that was...
Yeah, my first show was actually this past Sunday night, and it went well.
Yeah, well, I knew it was new, and that's why I wasn't going to open my mouth right now, so I didn't know that. Well, congratulations, and that's awesome.
Hell yeah, man. I've been contemplating going with them since November, and I was so new with my other station that I didn't jump on it. And I was like, nah, I don't want to jump ship that quick, and be that guy. And now that station is shutting the doors, so shit, it was the perfect time, and great company, of course, with Melissa K and Dirty D. Shit, yeah, man, that's, and all the DJs on Rock Rage Radio. So it's going to be a great experience. This year is going to be big, not only for me and Blevins Nation, but Dirty D, Dirty Outlaw Entertainment, Melissa K, Bonnie Blair's, and Lillian Axe and Brian Jones. Dude, I see big things coming for everybody.
I hope so, man. And look, man, there's enough to go around for everybody, and everybody's work ethic. If you keep working, work hard, I believe anything can come to you. No matter what you face, there's always a silver lining. And so, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to 2019, and we have some great shows coming. And congratulations to you. That's an awesome thing. And I enjoy listening to the interviews that you do, and I think you've done a great job, obviously.
I'm trying. I learned.
I was going to say that, but I didn't know you had made it public. So my apologies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, man, no problem. And I learned something new about podcast all the time, and everybody does their podcast the way they want, and some mimic others. I decided I want to do an open conversation about me and the artist talking about any fucking thing, you know? So,
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah. I
you
think
know,
it's awesome. No format, that's a cool thing.
you know,
That's like
Jack,
my life. No format until working, and I don't. Everything else is kind of like what?
exactly, you know, I mean, one of my first interviews, man, Jack Russell of Great White, he broke down and cried on my show, and I was
Oh
worried.
yeah, that's
I was worried about that. I didn't know if I should cut that or not, and I actually I called Stevie Blaze, and I was like, dude, I need some advice, and he told me, he said, call Jack and ask him if it's okay. He said that he would, he would want you to do. That would be a great thing to do. So I did. I took the advice. I called Jack Russell and said, hey man, blah blah blah, and he was like, Chris, put it on your show. It's real. I said, okay, and people loved it, man. It was, very vulnerable, very, very just true, and that's what I want. I want true on my show, not some bullshit.
sure. Yeah, Jack's a sweetheart, man. We, many nights he broke down with me on the America Rocks 2012 tour, and
yeah, he's
we
just
developed.
guy.
We were both sober, and we developed a great relationship. So after every show, I spend time with him, and then I get to spend time with Tammy, and doing the singer thing, and we just sit there for hours and talk. And so I love
awesome.
Jack, and I think still one of the greatest voices in rock.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, it's Jack Russell, but he taught me so much on that tour, and I can't thank him enough. His camp was just great to Lillian, and that was a big tour. That was us and Jack Russell's Great White, Bullet Boys, Pretty Boy Floyd, and then Faster Pussycat. And so that was just a fun, long tour, but it was definitely a fun tour and a lot of fun. So learned so much from everybody, and so good stuff.
Yeah, cool. Well, dude, I guess we ought to get off here. You probably got business to take care of, and getting more bands in Body Blood.
Yeah, right. Yeah, add more insanity to my life, but I do definitely appreciate you having me on, Chris, and many years of success to you, my friend, and keep in touch. And
hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah. Great talks with an old friend from Jackson, Mississippi, my hometown. Well, Brandon, Mississippi, Pearl, Mississippi, all that area. Anyway, Brian Jones, lead singer of Lillian Axe and also owner-operator of Dirty Outlaw Entertainment, bringing the best in rock and roll to Brandon, Mississippi, and all over Mississippi and anywhere else they can. But yeah, Lillian Axe is going to be this weekend at Rocklanta in Atlanta, GA. That's right, Atlanta, Georgia. Hot Atlanta, that is. And they're going to be playing center stage and with a lot of other bands. Dangerous Toys, Tora, Roxy Blue, Warrant. I mean, God, man, the list goes on and on. Babylon Shakes. So going to be a great weekend. Wish I could make it to that, but I can't, unfortunately. But yeah, everybody give a shout out to Brian when you see him, and tell him you heard this interview on BlevinsNation.com. Blevins Nation on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And also I'm on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, FM Player, Spotify, all those good things. Check out LillianX.com and check out Lillian X on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all those places too. And check out Brian and Stevie Blaze, and they're all on all these social media outlets. And check out their music. You can get it from Amazon, and you can get it from Spotify, I'm sure, and iTunes and all the places to download. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Remember, kids, wherever you go, there you are.